So with just ongoing, sense of violence and destruction that we're constantly facing, every single day, all you have to do is pick up your phone and read the news of just about any corner of the world, and there is this aspect of our nature that tends to be violent, and it makes me think about what is love? What is our capacity to live in this better half of ourselves instead of kind of resorting to the worst half of our humanity. And we all have it in us to do both. And thinking about love and what love really is, it's led me to kind of contemplate the Yoga Sutra and all the texts of ancient wisdom that are around have something to offer in this regard. Um, and in the sutra, the things that I've been contemplating and reading about in the sutra in regard to love is a few things, kind of broken down into a few things. First of all, that there's always a fostering of internal awareness of self. And when we have the capacity to be self-aware and to spread out that space between like an impulse and a reaction to our choices, we give time for this better half of us to rise and be the leader instead of our lesser half. Um, so specifically in the sutra, I think about the four attitudes. We've talked about this before, that, having a sense of goodwill or well-wishing, happiness toward those who are happy, compassion toward those who are suffering, a joyousness for those who are virtuous, and then this is the hard one, a sense of equanimity toward those who are acting poorly. So the equanimity part, I think, is probably the hardest out of all of those, at least for me it is. How do we stay neutral and calm when we face this behavior around the world of poorly behaving people, when all we want to do is fight back, or all we want to do is wish that person or those people unwell, right? And so, how do we stay neutral and calm? How do we look at behavior without judgment or without attachment, but rather search for what's capable within ourselves and what we can transmit in that moment? These are hard tasks. These are not things that are easy to do, and they require deep work. All of this requires deep work, so that we know how to act and we're not reactionary. The next aspect of the Yoga Sutra is to think about karma yoga, the yoga of selfless action. When we can only kind of offer ourselves selflessly to others when we've done a lot of work of surrendering our ego attachments to things and dedicating our efforts to a higher purpose. So this is really the root of unconditional love, is when we can detach from the fruits of our efforts, when we don't have to have something come back to us. And this is absolutely a part of, what's been taught to us in the Yoga Sutra. Not being possessive, even in our individual relationships of love, not being possessive in our love, not feeling overly attached. We can have connection without a grasping and attachment. Can we allow the people that we love to feel free, to feel expansive and expressive, and not have to conform to our expectations? Can we allow ourselves to flow from this state instead of, what we want and how we want our love to be? And then ahimsa, nonviolence, the sense of kind of cultivating an inner peace where most of our actions are and our thoughts are rooted in care for self and for others, that we come from a place of kindness, we come from a place of respect. Um, and when we are this way, when we're non-harming in this way, we make others feel safe around us as well. So this is how we, be the stone that ripples in the pond and moves outward. And then the last of the things I want to say from the Yoga Sutra really brings me back to Christine, who, we all have had the experience of walking beside her as she faced her dying days and her death. And before she died, in the weeks before, months before she died, she and I had many conversations around dying, death and dying. And one of the things that I think she so beautifully um, embodied was this sense of love as union, love as oneness. I think if she was gravitating, in her words to me, if she was gravitating toward anything at all of an understanding of the mystery of what's beyond our human experience, it was just that we dissolve into a union of love. And this is what the word yoga means: to unify, to unite, to yoke together. And it's really, you can think of it as union with the divine, and you can also think of it as just a union and a connection of all beings, universal love. And I know in the moments when I touch these things, which of course are not constant, where it's the work of touching these things, but when I am in this space of love and harmony and expansiveness and detachment from ego and non-possessiveness and peace, and when I well wish for others, and I feel that for myself too, and I feel connected to all things, when I'm in that energy, it's beautiful. And I think you can all relate. I'm sure you can all relate. And how is it that we kind of lose this? We lose sight of this. So I think the work of our yoga practice is to cultivate these things, not to just expect them to be present at all times because it's our nature. Yes, it's within our nature to feel this way, but it's also something that we have to uncover and polish. It is not something that we can just rest on our laurels about. So it's just food for thought as you come to kind of grapple with your own exploration of how the world is and how we show up in the world and what your values are and what your viewpoints are. Try to remember the teachings of our long elders, from long ago until present, that show us the way. And remember that it's work to do this, that you can't just expect these things to just be always present. Okay. All right. So as you sit up straight and tall and come to a comfortable seat, think about maybe we can start our practice with thinking about someone that we have struggled with, where we see bad behavior happening. Could be someone we love. It could be someone on the world stage. It doesn't matter, but contemplate someone that you struggle to find calm and detachment, where you've had wishings that they like, not well wishings, put it that way, that you wish for harm in some small or big way for this person. Okay. And um, let's see if we can turn this around. Okay, so let's remember this loving kindness meditation that we're going to start with, and we're going to direct it toward this person. And of course, ignore me if this is not what's right for you today, or if it's triggering or whatever. But for a moment, hold this person around your heart and see if you can remain calm and patient, detached, feeling that quality of equanimity. And then can you get to the belly of why you wish this person discomfort in some way, what that reactionary nature is. And can you, instead of kind of be living on the discord, can you offer, may you be happy? May you be healthy. May you be safe. And may you be at ease. And perhaps if these things were present, this person that is acting poorly would change. Okay? If they were healthy, if they felt safe, if they were at ease, if they felt happy, what would shift in them? And then turn these statements right back onto yourself, the ways in which you self harm, um, however that looks in your mind or in your actions. Perhaps your capacity for this unifying love would expand more if you were happy, if you were healthy, if you felt safe, and if you felt at ease. And bring your hands together at your heart and offer any intentions that you'd like. Release your hands and let's find our way onto our back. All right, so as you stretch out in your body, let's remember that tending to our well being um, and giving ourselves time to know ourselves is really the first step to cultivating all of these qualities that the Yoga Sutra recommends as the ways in which to keep harmony and peace and love with self and with others. All right, so start with kindness toward yourself. Stretch your arms overhead and let's reach into our body and enjoy the feeling of becoming embodied. And whatever has been challenging for you in your mind or in your body, can you come home to yourself now with some compassion and love? And bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit, swaying from side to side, feeling the nervous system respond by resting and finding a bit more ease. Let's hang on to the knees and circle, kind of rolling the knees in one direction. Okay, and then rolling your knees in another direction. And let's open up your knees and bring them back in and feel your way into some range of motion in your hip joints, resting through your skull, keeping that sense of ease. And then right knee and left leg long on the ground, and feel free to move your feet around a little bit, rolling your ankles, wiggling your toes, getting a little freedom in your feet. Have a good nice squeeze of that knee, and then let's cross the right knee over to the left and stretch open into a twist. Don't go too far. Just let your body gently warm, and you can move your arm around if it feels nice to do so. Kind of getting some range of motion in your shoulder joint. You can even turn your head left and right, just getting some range of motion in your neck. And then draw that knee back into your chest. Pick up your head, hug it in snug, and then release all your limbs out to a star. Stretching wide. Let's roll your wrists and roll your ankles and wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes.
A big breath in and stretch widely, broadly. Exhale, knees into your chest. Pick up your head, snug ball. Release the right leg onto the ground. Keep your left knee hugged in toward your chest. Feel some movement in your ankles again. Release your head. Let it relax down. A good snug squeeze of your knee into your chest. And then we'll cross that knee over. And feel free to rock a little bit in this. Feel free to move your arm, sliding it on the ground. Feel free to move your head around. Just have any little bits of movement within this twist that feel awakening and nourishing to your joints. All right, and then release that. Stretch wide on the ground one more time, reaching your body out. Exhale, drawing your body in. Okay. Put your head back down onto the ground and come into a happy baby pose. Be gentle. You don't have to have your deepest opening in the low back. Maybe a little bit of rocking to and fro. And remember, you can always hold behind your knees instead of your feet if that's better for your body. Just letting that low back open a little bit. Then have a moment to just compress and release, and compress and release. Lift the legs straight up in the air, arms up overhead. Feel that extension. Maybe a little flexing and pointing with your toes. Maybe a little rolling with your ankles. Just move your feet around. Stabilize through your core. Let's open your legs wide out to the sides like a V, and then slowly bring them back in. And lower your legs slowly down toward the ground, stabilizing through the core of your body. And then when you're ready, reach your limbs wide, broad on the ground. Exhale, knees into your chest. Roll to your side and come up to your hands and your knees. As you find all fours, enjoy getting that sense of groundedness that are having such a strong point of contact with the ground gives you. And let's begin to move. Cat cows. And one might say, how does your physical yoga practice help you to cultivate these elements of the Yoga Sutra that help us to love better? And really, when we are in our bodies, we create that awareness. We create patience to be able to notice our reaction to things. Perhaps we, through our own understanding of the way we suffer in our own bodies, we can have more compassion for others. We can face hard things, and we can learn to have the courage and the stamina to sit in challenge. There's so many aspects of our physical practice that help us with our mind. Drop weight down into your sit bones and come to a child's pose. Lengthening through your rib cage, walk those fingers out. And probably one of the greatest gifts that our practice, our physical practice gives us is that sense of connection to the breath. Let's live in that life force energy now. Feel your way into your breathing. So much more is possible within us to cultivate our better half when we are living in our body and breathing well. Okay. Walk the hands over to the other side, to one side or the other. Just start with one side. Feel that dropping of your sit bones down toward the heels and open up through the base of the skull. Breathing fully, breathing deeply. And then come back to center and walk the hands over to the other side. Feeling a reaching in your body. A full breath in, a full exhale. And come back to center. Come up onto all fours and wiggle your spine around. Okay, anything that feels good. Curl your toes under and lift to a dog pose. Feeling that openness in your body. Let's take a moment to pedal your feet here, waking up through your body, feeling that sense of connection to the ground, feeling that sense of connection to your breath. And then come back down onto your knees and let's find a twist. Reaching one arm up in the air. Exhale, slide that under and twist to the side. Enjoy this. Breathe deeply, melting through your skull. All right, and then inhale, lift that arm all the way back to the sky. Hand comes down onto the ground. Let's switch sides, lifting your arm up in the air. Exhale and slide that arm under. Gaze toward the ground. Press into the earth with your hand. Breathing deeply. All right, and then we'll reach that arm back up to the sky, hand down onto the ground. Once you find your hands again, let's find our way to dog pose. Connect with your breath. See if you can stretch out the spaciousness of the breath, where we learn to be patient, waiting for the full inhale, that pause, and waiting for the full exhale. If we're learning to stay calm and have equanimity, the breath is a great tool for us to cultivate this. If we're learning to have spaciousness between our reactions and what we do with those reactions, how we choose our higher selves, our breath is a great tool for that. If we're learning to unify and connect with the universal energy of love, our breath is a great tool for that. If we're learning to detach and surrender and let our love be expansive without expectation, our breath is a great tool for that. Come into Uttanasana and rest your head, bobble it around. Inhale for a halfway lift, feeling the lift of your sit bones, lifting your quads as well, feeling the length of your spine. And then find a softness, a surrender, a release through your skull. Push through your feet, rising up, bringing the arms to the sky. Trace down through the center of your body. Pause here with your hands at your heart, and can we kind of experience that Anahata chakra opening and broadening the heart space a little bit here. Lift the heart toward your thumbs. Find your breath, slow it down, be present with it. Yield and connect to the ground. Inhale, lifting the arms, open the heart, see if you can lift it toward the sky, broaden the heart space, see if you can feel that sense of offering your heart in connection. And let's cactus, open the chest, squeeze the back of your body, exhale and round in chin to chest. Inhale, up again. And then float forward. Come to that surrender. Relax your head down. Inhale for a halfway lift, opening up through the body. Exhale and melting again. Step back to a dog pose, a long, spacious spine. Are you feeling embodied? Are you starting to feel patient, present? Are you able to connect with your breath? And come forward into a plank. Drop those hips so that you're a straight line in your body. Find your breath, shoulder blades down the back, root your hands well, index fingers as grounded as your outer wrists. Okay. And we'll put the knees down onto the ground. Roll the shoulders as you come onto the ground. Roll those shoulders a few times so you know that you have some freedom there. Inhale for a cobra. Open chest. Exhale, melting back down. Rising up again. Exhaling. Releasing. Come up onto all fours. Move around in your spine and feel that sense of freedom. Curl the toes under and lift to a dog pose. How's your breath? Stay within it. Keep the rhythm of your breath moving. When you feel ready, walk your feet forward, come to Uttanasana. Relax your neck. Inhale for a halfway lift. Notice your body opening, finding that rhythm of movement within your breath. Step back with your left foot, right foot's in front, a lunge. Stay inside the flow of your breath as you warm up your legs here, bending and straightening your front knee. Coming into the sensation of your hip flexors and your hamstrings and your glutes. Doing this within the breath. All right, ground yourself. Inhale, rise up, bring the arms to the sky, crescent lunge. A full breath here. Take your hands and interlace them behind your back and open up across the chest again. Try not to compress the low back. Stay grounded in your legs, active in your glutes and your core. And then we'll release the hands down to the ground. Back foot comes forward, a forward fold again. Relax your neck. Inhale for a halfway lift, opening up the body. Exhale. Melting again. Melt your neck. Step the other foot back. Left foot's in front now. Finding your lunge. Let's start to move within your breath. Next time you get to that deep grounding of your lunge, feel your roots rise up. If you're looking for ways to remain in equanimity, a sense of groundedness and a sense of breathing, a sense of embodiment, bring ourselves home to that deep rootedness will forever and always be helpful. So let's remember these tools we're cultivating are available in all circumstances, not just when we're on our mat. Okay, let's interlace our hands behind our back the opposite way. Open up through your heart, heads of the arm bones reaching back. And release your hands back to a dog one more time, feeling that fullness of extension. Come forward into a plank. Grounding yourself, rooting well, finding breath. We'll find the ground, knees first if you need it. Take your arms out wide in front of you and lengthen upward. Exhale and release back down. Take your right forearm in front of you. Reach back with your left hand and grab your left ankle. Stretching your quad, tail toward the feet. Breathing deeply. Keep stabilizing your pelvis as you do this. Try not to pull your knee out of alignment with your hip. How's your breath? All right, let's switch sides. Taking that other forearm in front, grab onto your foot. So now we'll stretch our right. And if you can't reach your right foot with your right hand, you can always use a strap. Finding breath. Stabilize the pelvis. Try not to fall with your ribs. Ribs in, tail down. All right, and then relax. Look at that. Come up on tall fours. Let's move around in the spine one more time. Push through your feet and rise up to a dog. Connect with your breath if you've lost it. Anytime you transition, notice if you can transition with your breathing. Walk your feet forward, come to Uttanasana. Notice how your body feels a little differently now than in the beginning. Push through your feet, rise up, trace down through the center again. Close your eyes if it's comfortable. Go inward. You can always open them and have a soft gaze, whatever feels better. Feel the bottom of your feet. Unlock your knees and breathe to the soles of your feet. Can you be the calm one in the boat? Do you have the capacity to settle yourself in groundedness? And from this place of calmness, can you live in the substrate of having care and kindness and respect for yourself and for all others around you? Let's release our hands down and turn sideways on the mat so we can get some wide legs. Come into a deep squat. Open up the inner thighs here for a moment. Elbows inside your knees. Drop down, ground the feet. Breathing well. Inhale, come all the way up, standing star. Again, lifting your heart. See if you can stretch from your center out to your limbs, giving of yourself outward to the world. Letting that energetic tendrils from your center reach outward and connect. And then release your hands down. Turn your right foot out. Let's come into a flowing practice of some of these standing poses. Arms up, legs straight, deep breath. And as you exhale, come into Vira 2. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, Vira. And this time we'll stay. So as you come into this practice, know that you don't have to be at a right angle. You can be further back from that right angle, whatever feels good. Soften the shoulders and open up your heart. Can you have that stoutness and courage of heart? Can you let the stamina of the posture give you that strength and fortitude you need to set your mind right? Let your mind set your body right. Let your body set your mind right. And let's flow here, reaching the arm up, reverse your warrior, and then we'll come down to Parsva Konasana. Just peeking at this pose, and then one more time, a reverse warrior, and then coming to stay in a Parsva Konasana. Stretching through your body, can you reach into the earth and reach to the sky? Is there a surrender through your neck? Connect with your breath again.
Can you stand resolute in your groundedness, but also have that freedom of expression, that spaciousness? Is there a way to be both grounded and detached at the same time? Can you let the pose free itself? You don't have to guard or grip, but you can use the ground for the force of support that it is. Okay. Rising back up, come to a wide-legged stance again, standing star. Can you give yourself outward to the world? Can you receive from the world back in toward you? Release your arms. Turn your foot the other way. And let's find, so as we move to the left, we're going to find a little bit of flow here. So exhale, come into Vira. And inhale, straighten your leg, lift your arms. You don't have to lift your arms. Maybe you want to bring them toward your heart instead. And this time we'll stay in Virabhadrasana. Give yourself the courage, this pose, when you set your mind right, to be able to just stay, kind of sit in the tapas of allowing energy to build. Let that setting of the mind help your body, but then let the resoluteness of your body give you that strength to not be reactionary, to find calm. Use your breath. Reverse your warrior, open up those ribs, and then come into Parsva Konasana. One more time. Big breath, reverse the warrior. Exhale, Parsva Konasana. Settle yourself here, ground. Feel the roots of your body supported by the earth. Big breaths. Soften your shoulders. All right, and then we'll come back up, a wide-legged stance one more time, feeling that open-hearted spaciousness. And then release into Pasrita. Melt your head down as you come forward with your torso, your wide-legged stance. You can always support with a block under your head. If you'd like, you can dangle your head. You can put your head on the ground. You can have your shoulders lifting up away from the ground. Full breaths here. Oftentimes when we feel overwhelmed by bad behaving people that we hear about in the news or we know about in our own lives, we can isolate, we can distract. We have all these ways of trying to run away instead of going in and just allowing yourself to feel. When we connect, we can feel. When we feel, so much more better choices are made. Okay. All right, let's turn back to the front of our mat. Breathing deeply. Let's have the courage to sit in the uncomfortable feelings instead of trying to wish away or distract away or numb away. Let's feel ourselves grounded into the earth. Come forward into the plank pose when you feel ready. Lower yourself down to the ground. This time we'll grab our feet, both of them, so ankles being held,
Drop your tail toward your knees. Take a deep breath in, and we'll lift everything up. Keep your neck long, breathing fully. And then relax. Put your hands underneath your forehead. Pick up your feet and windshield wiper your knees left and right. And we're going to take a gentle twist on the ground. So, right knee up in toward your armpit. We'll take our left arm, cross it over, and twist open. Only go as far as your body wants to go. Enjoy the openness across your spine. Melt into your breath. And let's come lying down on our belly, switching sides, left knee up, cross the right arm, and twist open. All right, come back toward your belly, come up on 12 fours, and we're going to do 2 restorative poses. First, we're going to do a heart bench, and then we're going to do leg up the wall. So if you have different ideas in mind, of course, you can choose different things. If you're going to do heart bench, you can do it just with 2 blocks, but you could also put a blanket over your blocks if you'd like. You can choose to have 1 block at the middle height for under your head and 1 at the low for in between your shoulder blades, or 1 at the middle in between your shoulder blades and 1 at the high. So the one under your head is 1 notch higher than the one under your spine. You can have the one under your spine long ways, along the spine in between the shoulder blades, or if you prefer, you can put it across your shoulder blades. So you just decide how you want to be. And then if you feel like that's very pokey, you can put a blanket over the blocks to have a little bit more softness. Once you come in, you can adjust. You might be like, oh, the blocks need to be a little closer to each other or a little farther apart. So just find what's comfortable. And what's comfortable now in 30 seconds might change. So give yourself the capacity to adjust anything at all whenever you need it. Remember that your knees can be bent, your feet on the ground, your legs in Supta Baddha Konasana where your feet are together and your knees splay out to the sides. Your legs can be straight on the ground, whatever feels nourishing to you. And same with your arms. They can be out to the sides, resting on the ground, or down at your sides, resting on the ground. You can interlace your hands on your elbows, hold your opposite elbows, and stretch your arms overhead. There's so many choices. So just find what's comfortable in your body and allow yourself to settle into the posture and breathe. A full inhale, full exhale. And this might be a good time to try to assess, do you want that block that's under your spine to be in any different position? Are you cultivating your breath while you're here? Are you staying present in the surrender of your body? What are the sensations that you're feeling? Alright, let's begin to come out of this pose when you feel ready. Now you can ignore me if you're super duper happy. Just stay put. You don't have to do leg up the wall. Okay. But if you'd like to make a transition, you can slowly find your way out of this pose and come to lie on your side and curl your back for a moment and just breathe. Remember, leg up the wall pose can be done with lots of props or no props. I'm going to use a blanket, okay, but you can put more height than a blanket under your pelvis if you'd like. I like a blanket under my pelvis and a blanket under my head, but that's just me. You find what works for you. The easiest way to get into this pose is to put your buttocks on the wall and your outer hip on the blanket or support that you're going to be up on, and then roll up to the position. Okay, the legs are against the wall. If you like having something under your head, great. If you don't, great. Sometimes people like a rolled towel under their neck. So many choices. And actually, for today, I want nothing under my head. So, find what you feels good right now. And then as you're ready, if you want, you can keep your legs straight up in the air. If you'd rather have your legs wide or soles of the feet together or cross-legged or feet on the wall, there's all sorts of choices of how to put your legs. Same with your arms. Where do you want them to land? Just find comfort. And then once you're able to rest, settle your body, surrender. Bring yourself back into your breathing and recognize that caring for yourself, restoring yourself, making sure that your cup is full is also one of the greatest ways that you can have more capacity for all these tools we are cultivating. If you are empty, the bandwidth to cultivate, moving from our better side is not as strong. So care for self. Again, if you're really, really happy here, you don't have to move. But if you're ready to come out of the position, go ahead and roll to your side, back to your mat. And let's take a moment to just nourish any last little things in your body that you need nourishing for before we move into Shavasana. So if you need a hip stretch or anything at all, a twist, anything at all, just take some time to kind of complete your practice, anything that we haven't touched that your body really needs. And remember that we're staying inside our breath even as we, come to the completion, and you might feel like you're stepping out of the flow of your practice. We're still in the breath. So as you come into Shavasana, you might find that there's a specific comfortable position that's not just lying on your back. Maybe you'd rather be on your belly in child's pose over a bolster, or on your side, or back with your legs up on something, or anything at all. Okay, so as you come to Shavasana, remember that this restoration is really necessary for us to show up in the world in our highest self. Okay, if we are going to cultivate all of these loving relationships with people and with the world, we need to be restored and healthy. So may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you feel safe. And may you be at ease. begin to invite a little bit of movement. Maybe you can start by turning your head or moving your ankles or wrists or fingers or toes. Perhaps a full stretch. Find your way to your side. And eventually coming up to a comfortable seat. And can we kind of emulate what we know and what we've seen in others, especially Christine, as she showed us this deep belief in the union of all things, the connection of all things, and that really the substrate of all of this is love. Can we kind of resonate with that ourselves, even amidst the challenges, the muck, the mud that we have to kind of sift through sometimes? Can we remember this, that we are all connected? Offer your energy into that substrate and see if you can just spread the sense of love that you feel outward. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.